So I'm curious, when did you get into Tesla? When did it start for you?
Yeah, so I got into Tesla when I was in like the beginning of high school, which I think would have been 2008 or 9.
Okay.
Um, and so I was on a debate team, and the premise was how do we solve climate change or global warming at the time.
Nice.
And so we had this
What kind of debate did you do back then? W- Was it like two on
normal,
two, Oxford, or?
yeah, it was 2-on-2. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I
yeah. Shout
did.
out to AJ, my partner.
Yeah, I did debate as well. It's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
We were like
yeah.
0 and 6. We never won a debate because we were
Hmm.
so hooked on our plan that was ridiculous and just wanted to
Uh-huh.
talk about that.
Sure, sure.
But yeah, it's I've noticed a lot of like business and investing people like debate
Uh-huh.
is like a great skill to have,
Oh
honestly.
yeah, awesome. Yeah, definitely.
Um, but yeah, so we debated, and our
Hmm.
plan was basically to solve climate change was to transition us off fossil fuels, of course, with
Okay.
GMO algae. And so one of my dad's friends was working at like this genetically modified algae company, working with ways to make way more like oil content, fatty oil in the algae, so we
Uh-huh.
could extract and get like so much oil out of just one tube in the desert. So we had all this science and quotes from him about this new algae technology to deploy that was genetically modified to have this crazy oil content, and then we would literally transition the whole world to this algae biofuel just with like a couple hundred miles of tubes in the Arizona desert. Nobody cares about that
Uh-huh.
anyway.
Got it. Yeah, yeah.
but but then I found Tesla and Elon Musk, and I was getting into the stock market at the same time. And like my
Hmm.
investing mentor was like, "You should check out Tesla. I just got a test drive in the Roadster. Like I won a raffle, and he gave me the hat." And then I looked up and I read the master plan, and I was like, "Oh my god! Like this is way better than our debate like
Hmm.
proposal to like fix fossil fuels." Like Elon Musk won the debate tournament already, so
Uh-huh.
and he's actually doing it, and it like
Hmm.
it's not tubes in the desert. It looks like sexy sports cars, and
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
it's fun and it's like exciting, and they're. And so that just got me hooked. And then I feel like Tesla is like this rabbit hole of like once you get hooked, you just
Hmm.
keep. I'm sure you went through that
Yeah,
too.
yeah. Yeah, so I'm curious, like, this is, you said high school, right?
Hmm.
Like beginning of high school or so
Hmm.
for you. So I want to go back a bit. Like, where did you get kind of the initial like interest in technology or investing or whatever? I mean, was there any turning points or any like background or context even before that?
Oh yeah. So I one of my uncles got me a book called The Snowball by Warren Buffett.
Yeah,
And
I
so this was
know
in
that.
high school. And
Hmm.
so I read The Snowball, and I was super into like collecting and buying and trading sneakers. So I would like wait outside, buy these sneakers, flip them on eBay, and like
Hmm.
reinvest those profits into two pairs. And so I had my own little sneaker empire, but that was just so I could get free sneakers. But that
Got
was the
it.
start of like markets. And so I read The Snowball by Warren Buffett, and I was like, oh
Hmm.
my God, like you can build wealth. It's all about compounding if I start now. Then I
Hmm.
started Googling richest people in the world, hedge fund managers. Okay, if I get really good at this, not only can I make a ton of money and have financial freedom, but like I can learn about everything. So it's a
Hmm.
weird way for me to like buy optionality on life if I don't have to choose what I can do because I'll be
Hmm.
super wealthy. And while I'm waiting to choose what I'm doing, I'm just learning. And so
Hmm.
that's what I love about like investing. And I just got hooked because I think I never really bonded with school or the traditional education system, but I
Yeah.
really bonded with like following a company as a case study and actually
Hmm.
learning because it was real in the world. And that was so much more powerful for me. And
Hmm.
so there's a lot of stuff that happened in between, but I like ended up getting into penny stocks, had a penny stock website. That's a
Was
long
this in high
story.
school?
This is in high school.
I
And
see.
then like
Got it.
made a bunch of money, and our parents made us shut it down. And then I started
Hmm.
blogging for Seeking Alpha, started
Hmm.
getting back to my Warren Buffett, like OG investor roots, and then
Got
actually
it.
found Tesla like as college started. Yeah.
So were you blogging on Seeking Alpha in high school?
Yeah, just in my senior year of
Nice.
high school.
Okay.
And they hated Tesla. It was
Yeah, yeah.
impossible. If you
No,
look at like
yeah, I
my
totally
first
know.
articles, they're
Yeah,
all
yeah.
bullish on Tesla, like at
Yeah.
$30 a share. And they're like, yeah. So
So if you got into investing, compounding, all this stuff, like why didn't you take more of a typical type of career path, like I don't know, go into some, I don't know, investing
oh, I
firm
love
or
this question.
whatever. Yeah, yeah.
Yep. So I was like, um, how can I say this? Okay, so I went to NYU, and I was
Hmm.
like, okay, I'm gonna do the fine. Like I'm gonna go to Goldman Sachs. I'm gonna work on Wall
Really?
Street.
Wow.
Shit, like that was my dream. I'm gonna work for JP Morgan. Like I went to
Hmm.
NYU Stern. It's
Yeah,
literally
yeah.
like a factory to pump out Goldman Sachs analysts and
What
JP. That's what everyone wants to do there.
what was your
Um,
major at NYU?
Finance and entrepreneurship.
Okay, cool.
2.8 GPA.
Cool.
But so I got there, and I just like I was so disappointed because I actually loved
Hmm.
investing. Like I had already been writing for Seeking Alpha Investing. Like
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, I'm here to invest in companies that are going to change the world. Like I had already connected the dots that like that coffee that I buy at Starbucks supports this company, Starbucks, and there's a stock behind it, and there's a company behind every stock, and I
Hmm.
want to invest in companies that are doing good in the world, not bad. And
Hmm.
like this just nobody was thinking that way. It was all about how do I make money? Oh, I want to work at Goldman. They're going to slave me doing spreadsheets for like 18 hours a day, and I'm doing it to raise money for some oil company. And so you're working your
Hmm.
ass off, like you have insane hours. You have to forego all of your health. You let go all of your morals just to make a little bit of money. Like, and it was
Hmm.
so cutthroat, and everybody's like, I just hated the mentality. And I actually joined like the Quantitative Finance Society freshman year. They were really cool because they let me in. But
Uh-huh.
like, this is
Yeah.
how big my beef was.
Hmm.
By my senior year, my ideas were too radical. And even though I was there was only two people that got in freshman year off the bat. So it
Hmm.
was like a big deal to get in freshman year. And
Hmm.
I'd been in on the thing pitching Tesla at $30. Like we've been
Hmm.
crushing it. And then they just kicked me out because I couldn't like mathematically price these bond yields. And I was like, bro, like
Uh-huh.
I'm doing the equity portfolio, like I'm managing growth stocks, like I don't care
Hmm.
about bonds, like
Yeah.
but like they kicked me out. So there's just this big mentality of like, if you don't do it our way or by the books, how good are you? I don't know. I'm not vocalizing it well, but I just really didn't get along with the culture. There was a
Yeah.
huge culture clash of like I felt like people were in it to make money, not to
Yeah.
actually like in it for the right reasons and
Yeah.
interested and passionate reasons.
Yeah.
So I just went this and
Yeah.
swerved.
It's interesting. Like I totally know what you're saying. Like for me, like I've also taken kind of a atypical kind of path myself. Like I've never really like jived with like typical, I don't know, finance or Wall Street or
Yeah.
brokerage or whatever like that path. I mean, in my early days, I wanted to follow that because I thought that was the path, for wealth and etc. But then like, yeah, something hit me where it's like it lacks like everyone is just following like this like it feels like a bunch of zombies following like this path to just everyone just trying to make money, but it lacks like this human like feeling or relationship empathy, this other side where it's like everything is so like almost to an extreme, um focus so much about just the numbers and what it takes to build your career and get ahead and and it's all set up, it's all traditional, it's all like laid out for people and
Hmm.
and all of this stuff just like intuitively I just knew and I know that it just feels like it's missing the point. It feels like I could capture the essence of investing better outside of that circle. You know, like it just seems like a lot of times that's just noise. It's just like a smoke screen or something. And without the pressures of a corporate ladder, without that culture, without that like hyper focus of just only money, like outside of that, I could see things more objectively, see which companies are really going to be the big winners over the next 10 or 20 years, see like what real people are thinking about products, and services.
Yeah.
And
It's the secret isn't in the spreadsheet. It's in the
exactly,
real world.
yeah,
The
exactly.
secret is.
Exactly. And this whole finance world seems to be kind of out of touch with that, you know?
Mhm.
And I think that's probably one of the reasons why there's so many people in the finance world shorting Tesla and so negative on Tesla, because like spreadsheet wise, like it just they couldn't figure it out. It's just like this is a money sucking, just terrible business, and they couldn't grasp that people loved their products, and their products were just technologically just light years ahead of anyone else, in the industry. And it's like that cultural like difference, that cultural like divide is so strong, and I think it showed up more than ever in Tesla in the stock.
Dude, I could not agree more. Like, there's so many parts of that I agree with, but it's
Hmm.
great. Like, I had a couple interactions with David Einhorn, a couple of
Hmm.
meetings with him, phone calls. Like, that to me was a moment where I like tested. I just remember testing my faith against the real old financial. Like, this is the smartest spreadsheet guy in the world that everyone thinks is dope, that everyone would leave Goldman to work for at
Hmm.
Stern. Like, and then I'm face to face with him in a room for like 1 hour, just him and his number two guy, just like grilling me about Tesla, how irresponsible Elon Musk is, and like how
Hmm.
they don't get it, and how demand is off a cliff, and like so. I don't know. I had this weird kind of like vendetta where this whole Tesla experience, I got so close to it and I was so
Hmm.
right. Like we were so
Hmm.
right.
Hmm.
And then after that, seeing nobody capitulate and seeing like no credit be given and no like honestly respect given to the game. Like they didn't
Yeah.
care that this was one of the greatest business miracles of all time, that if you were actually a great investor and economist, you'd be studying the hell out of this, because this is what they're writing books on and case studies on for hundreds of years, because that's how disruptive this is, and they can't see that. And so it's like the fact that even though Tesla's this far and they still don't get that, I'm like, all right, I'm out of New York. I don't have time. Like, I'm not even going to convince
Uh-huh.
David Einhorn to buy Tesla. I
Uh-huh.
tried,
Uh-huh.
believe me,
Uh-huh.
and he would have done so much better if he had. But it's like, and it's like, I don't have time for this anymore. So that's
Yeah.
like, even moving to Seattle on the West Coast, I've noticed just being out of New York City, my mindset is already
Yeah.
so much more creative, so much more like looking at companies in a more healthy way. And it's really insane just how toxic that Wall Street culture is. But at the same time, I kind of love it, because that's why you're doing your channel. That's why I'm doing my
Mm.
channel. Like, there's this amazing rebirth of creators who are in it for the right reasons, putting out good content, doing it just the right way, and putting
Mm-hmm.
out really good stuff. And they're like, the karma's coming back to them in crazy ways. And I love, it gives me a lot of faith and optimism to see the emergence of like what you're doing in this kind of YouTube community as well, because I feel like we're fighting that, kind of Wall Street complex.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's like seems to be an alternative investing universe springing up, where it's no longer just like, dictated by these big banks and whatever, these analysts, but there's this whole nother, crop of generation of people who, don't really, I kind of see past that and, realize that it is more of like a meritocracy in terms of how you analyze, and how you discover, right, great companies. And so I love it. Like for me, it's like, I love it if I can, when I find like a great YouTube channel that doesn't have many subscribers and just like the guy has, or the gal has some amazing insights, and I'm like, anyone can do it, and if you've got the stuff, if you've got the insights and you've got like an angle that's unique, then, it's an open world for people.
Yeah, there's so much opportunity. I love that. Like, there's never been a better time to be the next Buffett. And,
Hmm.
the tools at your disposal for YouTube. And yeah, a part of me is like,
Yeah.
I wish we could talk about what I'm going to announce next week, because I feel like
Yeah.
it's tying into this, but it's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
No worries.